And here we go now with part 3 of the patient files that have been opened up from the Asylum archives, telling you about your chances if you would survive against that monster or that creature right here in the middle of October spooky season. And I have to tread very carefully here whenever it comes to patient file number 3 because one, there's a huge fan base behind this horror icon, and also for me personally, considering this one terrified the ever-living hell out of me back in the day. Patient file number 3 is Chucky from the Child's Play franchise. This is going to be a good one, and just exactly what are your chances if you would survive against Chucky? Well, this one's really going to be difficult to just explain on the success rate for Chucky because it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Whenever it comes to his speed and his size, he can take advantage of them, sure, but luck also does play a factor here if you would survive or if you wouldn't. So let's start to break this down. First and foremost, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. The classic Good Guys doll, I think that was the name of the company, if not the dolls themselves, the Good Guy right here, the infamous doll itself. This thing is only 30 inches tall. That's it. So yeah, Chucky, he's not exactly a physical powerhouse, not by any stretch of the imagination. However, this little SOB of a menace does know how to take full advantage of his size. Chucky usually, whenever you watch the movies and pay attention, he doesn't just outright attack his opponents. No, he usually relies on stealth and ambushing his victims. So there implies that whole entire luck thing I was talking about. If he's lucky enough to get the drop on you, you're probably done, because he is very crafty whenever it comes to his eliminations, and again, just relying on that whole stealth aspect. But then again, if luck's on your side, and you're able to defend yourself just a little bit at all, defending yourself against a doll, kinda easy. But then again, when it comes to Chucky, there's also the whole entire manipulation aspect of him, because don't forget, when it comes to Chucky, originally he was a psychopathic, serial unaliver that went by the name of Charles Lee Ray. It was pretty much game over. The curtain had finally fallen down on Charles right here, and when that happened, he decided to transfer his soul over to Chucky. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot for the longest time that Chucky knew a whole lot of magic. Again, kind of forgot about that, just kind of like flew over my head over the decades. God, I'm old. Specifically, Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky, is equipped with voodoo magic. That's very specific, and some type of amulet that was called the Heart of Damballa or something like that. I think they kind of like swept the whole amulet thing under the rug eventually, and now just Chucky just knows how to use straight up magic now. Also, fun fact, Damballa is apparently an actual figure whenever it comes to the whole world of voodoo magics and stuff. Specifically, Damballa is some type of figure whenever it comes to the Sky Father, and Damballa kind of like manifests itself. You know you're dealing with Damballa in voodoo magic whenever it kind of manifests itself historically as lightning throughout the sky, which is what we see usually. Like we did see that specifically right here in the first scene when Charles Lee Ray transferred his soul into the doll of the first Good Guys doll right here, Chucky. But here's where things get really bad, and I really hope we get to see this more expanded upon in the future with more of the Chucky movies, whatnot, now that he has expanded his arsenal, his knowledge is power, and now Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, can now duplicate himself, his soul. I think he kind of like fragmented his souls in the other Chucky dolls, as we saw in this. I can't remember if this was a TV show or a movie, sorry. But yeah, he can now transfer and duplicate his soul, if not fragment it, into other Good Guy dolls. One doll is kind of easy enough to defend yourself against, but when you have a psychopath who's really good at kind of manipulating you, kind of like, you know, Hannibal Lecter style, he's no master of manipulating your emotions and stuff, but Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, he can kind of get in your head. When you add that, the stealthful ambushes from Chucky, and now that he can do things like this is a serious threat. My favorite thing, though, about Chucky is the whole entire psychological just destruction that this doll, this psychopath, can actually bring down on your head. Classic, like, we all like to think that, oh, if my friend, someone I trusted said, there's this doll that's come to life, we like to say that we would believe them, but we wouldn't believe them. Oh yeah, the doll is possessed, the doll is trying to hurt you. We like to say we would believe them, but we wouldn't. But for some reason, and this is kind of hypocritical, for some reason we wouldn't here in reality. We like to say we would, but we wouldn't. We wouldn't believe that about Chucky, but we do believe all the horror stories involving Annabelle right here are real-life haunted dolls. We believe people when they say this doll is possessed by evil spirits, if not demonic forces. We believe this, but we wouldn't believe something like this. Someone who used dark voodoo magics to transfer the soul into a doll, and now that doll is very just not so friendly. We wouldn't believe this, even though we like to say we would. Kind of hypocritical, like I said. Provided Chucky always goes through just a little bit of prep work and making sure that his ambushes are successful, here at the Asylum, we are going to give Chucky from the Child's Play franchise, in terms of, again, if the higher the rating, the less chances you would survive. We're going to give Chucky right at the Asylum a solid 7 out of 10, because again, that luck does play a factor, and there are chances that luck could be on your side. You could overcome him. He would rank a little bit higher, but unfortunately luck hasn't always been on his his side, especially if you've seen some of the movies. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Chucky. That'll do it this time for the spooky breakdown on the patient file number 3. If you wouldn't survive them, we'll just giving you your general odds anyway. If you enjoyed the breakdown, please make sure to give me a follow, like, and comment right over here, and definitely make sure to give me a follow right over here for future breakdowns on all things video game trailers, comics, and the eventual patient file number 4 this October, this spooky season. But again, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see y'all in the next one.